Right, so now welcome to the latest episode of the Fearless in Devotion podcast. Myself, Andrew Pollard, joined by Rhys and Tim, who we're here to reflect on one of the a great modern day away win against Peterborough over the weekend. Fantastic result there. Also, we've got Shrewsbury up on the horizon. Plenty more other stuff to get into. First and foremost, there is the newsletter as well. Go and check that out. There is not a link here right now, but there is a fantastic newsletter that is well worth your time. Also, of course, a big shout out to our sponsors, the Fat Ball Group. Go there for your food and drink needs. Always there to tick plenty of boxes. Gentlemen, how are we? How are we feeling? Come to you, Tim. You were at the game on the weekend, yeah? Come to you first in that case. How are you feeling after that? Just a statement win.
A statement win, followed by plenty of this, which you can hear. Oh, yeah. You get the gist. So, yeah, plenty of town away. I like it, which was great. But, yeah, a statement win in the sense that maybe we were conned into thinking it was a statement win by our friend Charlie from the Posh Cast last week, in the suggestion that they were going to be this wonderful sort of barometer team to kind of beat, and it obviously didn't turn out that way. So I just buzzing because everything about yesterday was exactly what you want from an away day. Just everything, like as me and Gilpin and a few others were going in 15, 20 minutes before kickoff, you could just hear the Wrexham fans outside the ground singing already non-stop. You know, that carried on throughout the game, beyond the game. The players could sense it, and it was just a perfect away day. Just the way we set up, the goals are so well executed. Probably should have scored more. Hit the bar. Mullin wasted a couple of chances for him anyway, and it was just an all-round good day. You know, just obviously the back into what's been going on this week, which I'm sure we'll come across, but. Yeah, really good. It was nice to get one over Fergie because we've all got a lot of time for him for what he's achieved at Wrexham, and yeah, it was just brilliant. You remember Notts County from last season where we stole it late on with late goals? It just had that feel about it, just like kind of not a big occasion, but just where we are now, I guess. And I think we need to start acknowledging that we are a League One team, and people need to start sitting up and taking notice of that. We are a very good League One team, and I'm hoping we're starting to prove that week in, week out.
Yeah, it was very solid from everyone involved. There were a few standout players. George Dobson, again, absolutely excellent. Ryan Barnett, again, proving that he very much is as a League One footballer. The goals, of course, from Jack Marriott and the Max Cloreth header, a great ball in from Tom O'Connor, who had, again, another great game from him. Yourself, Rhys, watching it from wherever you were watching it from. I happened to be in the Philippines, is all I'm saying, to watch that game. But it was just on the back of the start of the season we've had so far. That's 3 clean sheets on the bounce now. It's second in the league. We couldn't have expected this start to the season to be any better, really. Yeah.
No, and I mean, Tim was saying there where we tricked into thinking it's a statement win. No, I think it is a statement win, and I feel like now we can say that because I felt I had those same jitters about Reading, and then I had the same jitters about Bolton away. I was like, oh, that's a really good statement performance to show that we can, grind out a clean sheet at a place like Bolton. But could have been a one-off. Who knows? Same with Reading. Then they've had some difficulties. Young side could have been a bit lucky. Now we've had sort of this many in a row. I feel like we can say, okay, actually, maybe we are a top 10 team with a following wind, and with a bit of luck, we could even do better. Who knows? It's all a bit dreamland at the moment, isn't it? I definitely think we should enjoy this high, but also be aware that, it's bound to break soon, and we just need to be ready. As we've said many times, as the cliche goes, it's not, the fact that you lose that matters. It's how quickly you can bounce back. So, but with the home game, 3 points from there, and crikey Moses, there's a very good chance we could be top of the league by the time.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially because so many games or so many fixtures aren't going ahead this weekend, postponements due to international call-ups. So there is a chance that we could go top of the league once the game of Shrewsbury's out the way, which we will get to Shrewsbury a little bit later in the episode. I guess one downside was Andy Cannon going off with an injury. I've not seen too much on what that was exactly severity-wise. Hopefully it's nothing that keeps him out for too long. But on the flip side of that, Ollie Rathbone got to come on. again, looked a bit like George Dobson, a very busy bastard, which is a phrase I'm going to be using a lot this season. Just covers a lot of ground, puts stuff about, technically looks very, very good, as you'd expect for a player that caliber that's come in as a record transfer at the time. Then you look at, it's in a weird situation now, because obviously Paul Mullin, again, came off the bench, but realistically, regardless of fitness-wise, say Moles is completely fit, ready to go for, say, the Shrewsbury game. Ollie Palmer and Jack Marriott have quite the budding partnership there. That's obviously working very well for us so far. Can you drop either of those two right now?
Ooh, no, I think is the honest
Agreed.
answer.
No, you don't.
No, I mean, Marriott started really well. Palmer's just busy, and he was never fat anyway, but he's definitely a bit more shredded, slightly more mobile than maybe what he was. And I just think Marriott's earned his place. He's got a couple of goals, really good goals, has to be said. Yesterday is not an easy finish, really, because he's got the keeper and a covering defender to beat. So it's kind of like, well, I've got to get enough on this to at least get it past at least one of them and ask a question to the defender. And obviously gets a little bit lucky with deflection, but you don't shoot, you don't score. We all know it's about Dobson's touch and the weight of the pass and everything else. But I'm happy for Jack Marriott. I can't remember who it said on X before, but they said, look at his movement in the build-up, the way he just turns. He does a couple of pirouettes just to make sure he stays onside. Finds that yard of space. Dobson's already seen him create that yard of space, so he knows where he's putting the ball straight away. So I think a few people have said it. I think Darren Ferguson actually said it in the build-up to the match. Said like Jack Marriott's a really good player, and he honed in. He said he's specifically very good at movement. He's very hard to defend against, and we saw that with a goal.
Yeah, I think people maybe took it for granted last season when he came in, or maybe underappreciated the fact that this is somebody who's played at League One for many, many seasons, played in the Championship, scored goals in the Championship and League One. And then when he came in last season, it was very much fits and starts where he'd get a game here or 20 minutes here and there. And he hasn't had a run. Obviously, this season with Mullin's injury, he has had that run to start the season. And we're very much reaping the rewards of that. James McClean, when that first goal goes in, of course, in very James McClean typical fashion, turns around and gives a little something to the home fans there at Peterborough. Yeah.
Has he ever not done that after
No.
a goal is my question.
I'd be fuming if he didn't, to be honest. It'd be very out of character if he didn't. One thing, again, watching from the Philippines, where I was watching from the comfort of my transmission online, was there was one point where James McClean gets grief. Obviously, of course, he does, from somebody in the crowd who's going full on nuts at James McClean while wearing a Man United shirt. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you going to watch Peterborough in a Man United shirt, first of all? And just, I don't know.
Have you seen the finer details of that exchange?
No.
There's a few people, and this has actually come from a Peterborough fan, and they basically said that whoever these lads are, and I think he's referring to the lad in the Man United shirt and the two next to him. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But he says, because apparently this lad has given McClean dog's abuse, not just about McClean, but his family, his kid.
Right.
Has mentioned the retard word allegedly, which is obviously very uncalled for. So, bizarrely, McClean's probably heard so much more worse, but when it's personal attacks like that, you can kind of understand him giving a bit back. It comes as no surprise. And yeah, it's obviously come to bite them on the backside. And yeah, I mean, by McClean standards, that's fairly placid. He's probably keeping a little bit back for next week.
Yeah. That
I'm fully in favour of players giving it back. By the way, I've always said that, and that goes for both.
Yeah, it's one of them where if we're
there are plenty on all sides that do it. Sorry, I think.
Yeah, the audio's cutting out a little bit there, Rhys, but not too bad. So stick with us. But yeah, it's one of them where I think as a Wrexham fan, if I'm giving, for whatever reason, if I'm giving abuse to a player, I'm not too bad like that, to be honest. But if I was, and then they go and score whatever past us, and then it's like part and parcel that you've got to expect them to come in, give it back to you. It's like that's just part of the game. You've got to crack on with it. And now Stockport dropped points for the first time this season as well, 1-1 draw in Mansfield. So it's a nice place to be. Second place in the league. It's like I said, 3 clean sheets on the bounce after 4 games. It's yeah, 3 wins and a draw. Now we were, because obviously last week, if you listened, we had Charlie from the Posh Cast on, who very boldly predicted a 5-1 loss for Wrexham, where we were going to get welcomed to League One. The fact that if we let them have the ball, then they would tear us to shreds. James McClean was going to get sent off, of course. That was another one. Now we had 30% possession. We let them have the ball and we come away with 3 points. Now Charlie he was a lovely lad. The scoreline was very bold, but he stuck to it. He's owned that on social media, saying like, right, I said what I said. It didn't work out. And he's been very gracious towards Wrexham and ourselves at Fearless. But we were going to have him on today. He couldn't quite make it, but I just think he just came across so well, and I didn't want anybody to be digging him out on social media, or Ashley as well from the Posh Cast, because they both come out and again wish Wrexham well. There's been a bit of banter there. Everything's been mainly well-meaning from Wrexham fans towards the two of them, and they do seem like two lovely lads.
Can I just like address that, because I feel like I created a bit of a monster the past 7 days. Obviously, Charlie came on, like you said, made the bold prediction. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. You know, that's going to happen. We've probably done it at some point, no doubt. And it's what he said. He said, "Oh, you know, I was consistent with my prediction, and we've just kind of had a go about that on our own podcast." I thought, "Oh, that's interesting." So I'll go and check it out. So I did go and check it out. Obviously, his co-pod host Ashley was bolder with some other predictions and foreseeing how a fan base is going to get bored after back-to-back promotions. But anyway, I digress. It's kind of almost over old ground now, but I clipped that up. Thought it'll just get a little bit of a response as you do, but it's just kind of caught a bit of wildfire, to put it mildly. I think everybody, Wrexham, from a Wrexham point of view, and further afield, had heard about it. Obviously, the club's official X account cottoned onto it yesterday or today, saying that, you know, we went bored or something like that. So yeah, so it was just a case of it was all harmless. I sent Ashley a message just because I saw some comments which I didn't particularly like. I'm all for banter. I'm all for the bounds of football banter. When it goes a little bit too far, that's when I don't agree with it. And I think that applies to everybody. It applies to us. It applies to anybody out there putting themselves above the parapet to just give their honest view about a football match and the sort of things around it. That, you know, that's all we do at the end of the day. So yeah, but it was taken all in good heart. Bizarrely, there's a lot of other fun takes from Peterborough fans, which are a little bit more controversial, but obviously they're not putting themselves above the parapet. They're not putting themselves in front of a microphone and a camera. So, but you know, this is what's going to happen. It's nothing that we're strangers to. You know, we're there to be shot at, and so far we're kind of repelling all the bullets quite handsomely, really. And it's just great, isn't it? It's just a great time to be us and Stockport leading the way after 4 games. Who'd have thought it?
I was going to say as well, you know, there's this, sometimes I sense, and I do understand it, because I think we've all been guilty of it a little bit, this desperate need for us as Wrexham fans to be to get praise, and for people to like us. And I actually quite enjoy that we're getting written off all the time. And people are going like, well, you may have won there, but if you play like that, if you only have 30% possession at our place, then, you know, we'll stuff you. And it's just thoroughly enjoyable watching sort of the scales fall from each team's eyes one by one. And long may it continue, frankly. So I hope people keep writing us off.
I think there's just, everybody knows by now, there's certain trigger points that will annoy a fan base, specifically ours. And it's usually like, where were you before Hollywood? Where were the crowds? It's like, we could spend all day going, well, we'll just show you this one. We'll show you 8,000 at home against Salford in the National League, or we'll tell you about the 1,200 we took to Rangers for a biscuit cup trophy Tunnock's caramel wafer thing. It's not about justification, but we do often find ourselves justifying ourselves as a fan base because we're a precious bunch. But I think that's just football fans in general. You're kind of defending the honour of your club and your fellow fan, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's done in the right manner.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, so when Ollie from Salopcast joins us in about 15 minutes and predicts 6-0, we're totally not going to clip that and put it up on X. I know.
Absolutely. I mean,
but before we get to Ollie joining us to talk, because we found seemingly, supposedly a relatively normal Shrewsbury fan, so fingers crossed on that. Probably 6 fingers crossed for him. But anyway, before we get to that, let's deadline day has been and gone. In fact, one of the guys who's left the club, Sam Dolby, came on today for Dundee. Came on the same time as Louis Malt for Dundee, and they got a 1-0 win away. Was it Hearts they were playing today?
yeah,
Yeah, that always felt that once. I mean, we'll get to Mo Faal. That's the bigger talking point, I think. But once it looked like we were going to get another striker in, it did look like Dolbs might be the odd body out. Obviously, Billy Walters gone out on loan to Halifax until January. Jake Bickerstaff to Altrincham until January. It's how are we finding what we think about the window we've had? Because obviously Mo Fowle's come in, we'll get to that in a second. But Ollie Rathbone coming from Rotherham, Arthur from Arsenal, George Dobson from Charlton, Seb Ravan, Villa, Lewis Brunt, Leicester, Dan Scott from Plymouth, Callum Bird from Plymouth, and then Mo Fowle as well. It's a very successful window, I'd say.
it has to be the most impressive one we've ever had. It has to be, just in terms of quality, and it wasn't a massive turnaround player wise, but for the ones that were going out, we think, well, we've lost a lot of experience. So how do you replace that? Okay, so the players he's brought in, it's that nice mix, isn't it, of experience, the Scars of the world, Dobson, with a bit of youth, which we needed, a bit of pace, Ravan and so on. I think any of us struggle to think of a window that productive, but of that quality. And obviously, naturally, we've never had it because we've never had such resources to go out and be able to do that. So if we'd have started and ended at Arthur, people would have said, well, we're a bit short, but realistically, it's a good transfer window. So to do what we've done and then add into that, Parky's got strikers out that he wanted to get out to either get game time or to put themselves in the shop window for a move further down the track. It's great work by him and everybody behind the scenes. It's not just Parky, is it? It's a collective effort by people on the go and making sure agents play their part as well. So from my point of view, it surely, obviously time will tell this season and the season after that, but surely it has to be the most productive and high end window we've ever had. Surely it must be.
But what? Not the sum when Gary Mills got rid of like 24 players. No, not that one.
We'll replace 24 for another 24. That I mean that was the bottom of the barrel window. That one compared to this, it's very, very different, isn't it?
What
Different.
well, the triple signing on the day of Golden Mateo and whoever the other two were. That's got to be up there, surely.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's I'm trying to block all that out. We're in positive spirits today. We're second in the league. So what do you make, Rhys, of the fact that Jake Bickerstaff, Billy Waters, they're only till January, the loans. Dolby is for the rest of the season up to Dundee in the Scottish Prem. Bickers and Billy Waters dropping down to the National League, but only till Jan. Did that surprise you that they weren't season-long deals?
Yeah, potentially, but I mean, I suppose I wouldn't be surprised at all if both of those end up being season. They are, they both do well, and that will continue. But I suppose it's good the club is keeping, its options open in terms of you never know what might happen. We might have an injury crisis if we lose two strikers. Then, not only will we probably need to sign one in January, then we'll probably also need to keep one of those back, probably Bickerstaff or Dolby. Oh no, Dolby can't. So Bickerstaff. But yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to see how Bickerstaff gets on in particular, and Dolby out of interest as well to see how he fares. He felt like he didn't score many goals, but I don't think you could ever fault him, and he rarely sort of played badly, and you could see the promise there. So sort of, on a personal level, I do hope that he does well.
Yeah, it's a good move. I think Scottish Prem, Dundee, as I mentioned, Louis Malt is he's there as well. Like I said, both came off the bench at the same time today, so that's nice to see. A current Wrexham player, former Wrexham player, Louis Malt, great player for us for the brief time he was here. But somebody who isn't here now for the future, Mo Faal, came in on deadline day. The 9 o'clock in the morning. Printer was going again. It was all the tease for that. Now it's supposedly £500,000 plus add-ons, 3-year deal with an option for an extra year. Ollie Rathbone was our record transfer when he came in, but the fee for that hasn't been disclosed. So this could be a new record transfer from West Brom. 15 goals, 53 appearances last season for 2 loan spells at Doncaster and Walsall. 21 years of age, only turned 21 in February. What are we making of this? Himself, he came across, I thought, really well in the interview he did with the club, where he just described himself as strong, pacey, big, likes a trick. Also said that Wayne Rooney was his idol, which suggests to me he's probably a grafter, either that or he likes grannies, one or the other. It can be both. You can graft at that, I'm sure. Yeah. So his first ever professional goal was at the racecourse last year when we beat Doncaster 2-1. Elliot Lee scoring the winner, I think, 88th minute, which was also the return of Paul Mullin and the debut of Stephen Fletcher. So there's a lot of almost like history tied in already with him and our club. So how excited are we about this? And is this just the natural kind of replacement for that Ollie Palmer, Stephen Fletcher role in the coming years?
Probably. I mean, first things first. I'm not sure it's classed as a new record signing at the moment, because I think the 500k is inclusive of various add-ons and things further down the track. So I don't think it's eclipsed the Rathbone one yet. I think we would have said it otherwise, probably. But I mean, looking at him, he's very rangy. He's obviously got the height. He's very good with his feet. Like you said, he's a very good talker. He backs himself, and that's all we can ask for, really, is somebody who's confident and offers a bit of everything. That's what you want, is a bit of an all-rounder. You know, is he going to be better than Mullin in the air? Very probably. You know, is he going to be as good as Mullin in terms of all-round game? Very unlikely. But you need to have that change up in your strikers and that pot of strikers we've got. I think we've got a bit of everything now. You know, if we'd have come up against 6'8" sort of giants in Peterborough's defence the other day, obviously Faal was there on the bench. You know, so you just never. It's just good to have those options to mix it up, and it'll be very interesting to see at what point he comes into the side. You know, I think it's only a matter of time. Love to see him at Birmingham. Obviously, not too far away now, but an interesting one, because again, I feel it's a bit like Rathbone. We've just signed them, and because we haven't really seen a lot of them yet, especially Rathbone, Scar, we don't really know what they're about. Even Brunt, you know, all these players that have come in, and we're like, oh wow. And I think somebody pointed out the other day that 8 or 9 of the 11 players that started at Peterborough played in the National League, which is quite a thing. I mean, it tells you something about A, the momentum, and B, the growth that these players have enjoyed with the club, and how we're now trying to, or how we have become used to playing in a certain way. And Parky's quite happy for us to give teams the ball, because ultimately you're going to come unstuck unless you ping a couple of passes early doors. So I think Fowler's an interesting addition. But yeah, only time will tell, I think.
Yeah, Rhys, how do you find it to see three strikers on the bench at the weekend? It's like, this is a bit lopsided, but I like it. Like, just the quality on the bench was daft.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it marks, an interesting change, not necessarily change in strategy, but I mean, when you look at the sort of key players in the squad and that have been in the squad that have got us to where we are today, Tozer, Lee, Mullin, now McClean, players like that, they're all pushing the 30 mark or above 30. And it's, there was a part of me that was sort of, really, we haven't really since Mullin made a signing that's really sort of annoyed other supporters, and I was sort of looking forward to maybe us sort of spending a mil or two on someone bonkers, some championship, sort of someone like Joel Pirou or something like that, but obviously this one is probably a much more sensible thing to be doing, and it seems that he's got a lot of potential, and not just to grow with us, but there's potential resale value then as well for us. That really, a club of our size, that's going to have to be the way, if we want to go all the way, that we do it. That's essentially how Swansea City did it, and a lot of these clubs like Brentford and Brighton, they buy smart, and they are able to make profits through selling players on after sort of buying them early on, and that will involve things obviously that don't come off. But Mo Faal seems to be someone of that mold, and he looks a great prospect.
Yeah, we do have a couple of exclusives here to break before Ollie from Salopcast joins us. See if we can get through both of them. We can definitely get to the first one at least. Tim, as our resident shirt connoisseur, care to give us some breaking news, which will make us all very happy.
I just bunged on my headphones because I'm trying out various things with my
Okay.
setup. So as long as you can still hear me, that's good. The exclusive doesn't feel like it's as much of an exclusive as I thought it was going to be, because suddenly a couple of people mentioned it on the bus when I was going down the other day. I think it's somebody who works in and around the club that mentioned it, so I don't want to say their name. But anyway, I've got it on good authority that obviously we saw the long sleeve red shirt which James McClean wore against Reading, and then we have since seen Andy Cannon and James McClean wear a long gold sleeve shirt yesterday. My understanding, what I've been told, is they are making a limited number of long sleeve shirts in all three kits, which is great for those connoisseurs like us who like the long sleeves. You know, it's September now, it's pouring down, it's got a bit colder, you know, without sounding like some sort of old man. I like the idea of a long sleeve shirt for the winter. So by all accounts, they are in production. At least the red shirt is definitely going to go on sale. What I've been told, they're unsure on the other two, but I'd imagine if it makes sense to put a limited run together and they sell them, they can redo it obviously over and over. But yeah, fingers crossed that there's going to be a red, a gold, and a long sleeve black option to those shirts coming to a Wrexham club store and online to you very, very soon.
That makes me very, very happy. As somebody who yet to commit on any of the shirts this season, I was holding off. I was planning on getting a home one, and it's like, oh well, if there's long shirts on the way, I'll hold back a little bit longer. Rhys, there is another exclusive, which is definitely exclusive because it relates to the first confirmed guest for the next First in Devotion live event at McClean Hall. Care to divulge that information?
Tim would have to share it with me first. So
I thought that. I thought like I don't know. That's why
you might be better off going to Tim for that.
That's why I meant I threw it to you. I thought go with Tim for the shirt.
He might join us for the.
Yeah, actually, it's me. It's me. I hope so. Anyway, that's the plan.
Yeah. Well, we'll give you 6 months' notice. So
yeah, to be fair, that is better. I don't mind that.
Well, I mean, he's given me his word. I sort of interviewed Gary Bennett on Thursday at Gursel District Reds meeting. Thanks to your questions, he was fuming when I said that you'd give me the heads up on a few bits. He goes, "Oh yeah, he knows a lot. There's
stuff that I cannot repeat on air."
Yeah. I did ask him a few bits, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've been trying to get you on the pod for a while." Then he twigged, obviously, that I do this, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you've been trying to get me on for a while." Like, yeah. I said, "I've got a live event in January. Would you like to do that?" And he said, "When is it?" I told him, and he went, "Yeah, 100%, I'll do it." And this was like before he'd had his 6th or 7th drink, so we should be good. So I'm holding Gary Bennett to account that he's definitely going to come. So fingers crossed. So Gary Bennett, first name on the team sheet for the Fearless Live event on the 24th of January next year, day before the Birmingham home game. Please get your ticket if you haven't done so. There's not many left. Thank you.
Yeah, Benno, just one of the great storytellers. There's a few people. There is a Gary Bennett. There's a Glenn Littles of the world where they will talk and talk and talk and talk. And Benno is always an entertaining figure and some stories that will that will put a chuckle on your face. And obviously some very special memories being Northampton and various other games, the Welsh Cup final against Cardiff. So yeah, that should be absolutely fantastic. Right, we do have our guest joining us, Ollie, any minute now. Anything we should want to talk about before we get into that? Because there's a lot to talk about, I think, with Shrewsbury just amongst ourselves, but Ollie as well. There's a lot to get into with him as and when he pops up.
Well, it's a key derby, isn't it, Tim? I mean, obviously we discussed this the last time we played them in the FA Cup last year, which was the first time in a long time, I think, wasn't it? But this will be the first league meeting since when? Actually,
2007-8. Yeah, and we lost 1-0.
Is it since Proctor?
No, the season after.
No, season after, of course.
Yeah, they tossed us basically 4-0 over the 2 games, 3-0 away and 1-0 at our place.
Oh yeah, that was the Richard Hope game. Oh god.
Yeah. don't say his name, please. It just sends shivers down my spine.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, in a strange way, as much as I'm excited for it, I feel like it's one of those you just got to like take head on and just get it done, because we've had such great time so far with the Bolton game and obviously Peterborough and having such a good start to the season. You just don't want this to be like a Tranmere game last season where there's almost this expectation to go into a home match and win it because our home record is so imperious. but you can come unstuck. But you need two things for that to happen, and that is one, the visitors have to bring their A game and be right on it, and Wrexham have to be performing at 60% or less. That's the only way we're going to lose a home game. Yeah, at this level, I genuinely think that. So, but we'll see. But it's going to be an interesting situation because obviously a lot of people are saying now, well, that they've lost all the best players. But I'm sure we'll hear from Ollie from Salopcast, who's about to join us anytime.
I believe he's in the waiting room as we speak.
I think he's been admitted, but he's yet to pop up.
Oh, we've had Ollie on in the past.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. There he is.
There we are.
How are we doing, gentlemen?
No audio. Has he got audio?
1 second. I need to change my camera.
It's all right. All good. We were just saying lovely, lovely things about Shrewsbury and how we can't wait to host you and all that sort of stuff. Really,
Well, it's been a happy hunting ground for us the last few times, but I think times have changed.
Yeah, we had a grim run against Shrewsbury at home and away.
Yeah,
obviously, there was the Lee Jones 90th minute winner. That was a nice highlight. And then there was the Proctor goal, which played a massive role in keeping us up. But other than that, for those years, it was very short shrift against Shrewsbury. So
I was looking at it. It was just waiting before I was coming on. It was last 5 we'd won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. But times have changed.
Yeah, but you got a first win of the season on Saturday against Leighton Orient, 3-0. Left it a bit late with the 82nd and 95th minute goals to seal it. But how was the performance at the weekend? Because it's not been the greatest start to Shrewsbury, but is this the start of something?
Yeah, it hasn't been the best start to the season, to be fair. But on Saturday, it was a really good performance. A few changes to the starting lineup. We got 3 points and a clean sheet and a couple of goals, 3 goals, which was really key. So good performance, and hopefully a bit of a building block for the rest of the season.
Yeah. What is realistic expectations for the season for Shrewsbury this year?
Avoid relegation.
Is it that dire? Because I've seen a lot of people with predictions table. I know some are Wrexham fans and some of us may be a little bit biased, but a lot of the prediction tables are kind of bottom 2, bottom 3. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say so, to be honest. I think most Shrewsbury Town fans would, I've do the Shrewsbury Town podcast, so put what people's expectations are out, and I'd say most people probably average of 17th, 18th, 19th as kind of expectations or kind of predictions. Obviously, a little bit of bias in there. You don't think many Shrewsbury fans will predict yourself to be relegated unless you're kind of trying to make a point. But yeah, we're cutting our cloth after a few years of overspending in a division that is very tough. So last year was, I'd say, an easier division. This year it's a lot tougher.
Ollie, you already seem resigned to
I wouldn't say I'm right. No, not resigned. I felt it's really fun. If we'd done this podcast on Friday, I would have been in a fit of despair because some of the defending against Notts County and Bolton this season has been nothing short of absolute shambolic. And I heard that the players got some feedback on Tuesday night from our assistant manager, who's probably one of the most scariest men in football.
Who's that?
He's Chris Doig. He's a former Scottish centre half. Well, he's still Scottish, but he's very scary man. And apparently he ripped into them on Tuesday night after some shambolic defending against Bolton. Everything you'd possibly fear from a team in terms of space in midfield, defenders making mistakes, defenders not winning their one-on-ones, and we didn't have much ball on Saturday. I think we had some 28% possession in the end, but we defended really well and defended the half spaces. And couple of an extra man in midfield, not extra man, and a new signing in midfield, I think really helped as well.
Wow, you had loads of. Was that possession? Not much possession, but winning.
Who needs possession?
Possession. Well, quite. Yeah. I was going to say, you mentioned there about League One being tougher this year. How is your view that at the moment we're kind of on cloud 9 and sort of can't quite believe how these first 4 games have gone? I think they're sort of beyond what anyone was expecting, and in particular, the last 3 games getting 3 clean sheets essentially. are we going to get bumped down to earth in a bang soon? There's two. I'm not trying to get a gotcha here to clip you up and make you go viral, but do you think there's too many good teams in this league to keep on like this?
I don't know. There's always one team that kind of just rides the wave. So last year, Stevenage had a really good season. Under Paul Hurst, Shrewsbury Town finished third with 80 points. So, teams can overperform and underperform. I think it's really interesting, obviously, that yourself and Stockport started the season really well, kind of that crest of the wave. And I was looking at your team. There was obviously a lot of players that played for you last year as well. And some of your new signings still haven't got into the team as well. So I would say there's probably reason to be optimistic in terms of your squad, the money you're spending, probably are in the top echelons in terms of spending. I would say, like, if you look at the league table, Bolton haven't started very well at all, and they're a really good side. Rotherham haven't started very well either. And as you guys know, it's a really, really long season. So yeah, like, you guys have done for the last few years, you've got to enjoy the wins. If you don't enjoy the wins, there's no point really supporting a football team. But yeah, I'd say I expected you guys to be in the top 8. And then after that, you just don't know. You just don't know, because you know what it's like. You get a winger or a striker in a bit of form. You have a lucky goal here and you get something, and you can go on a bit of a run. But for me, yeah, League One a couple of years ago. Obviously, when I came on your podcast before we had the FA Cup tie, we were talking a bit about the Sheffield Wednesday Plymouth Ipswich season, which was like phenomenal. Obviously, Birmingham City is just insane. What they're doing. I hope they do a Sunderland. I really hope they do a Sunderland.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you think
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about underperforming teams?
Yeah.
What you sort of see and hear from them? You just think that they should walk away with the league, really. But
well, they spent more money on let's call him, he's a League One player, than Liverpool spent on a World Cup winner. So, like, it's just insane the amount of money they're spending. And they probably will do really well, but there's been a lot of teams in this division, and any division, that can struggle. Look at Chelsea, a great example of spending money and not being very successful. So, but yeah, I think Birmingham will, if Birmingham don't get over 100 points, they failed. Like, they have spent so much money. They're spending, like, what was it, Alfie May on like 15, 16, 17 grand a week, which is a high wage for Championship. So, if they don't get, like near to 100 points, then they have failed. And if they don't win the league, they've kind of failed, because how much money they're spending. Then after that, there's so many teams who are in that kind of hunt. And yeah, I think at least half the division are up there for trying to get into the playoffs. So where you guys finish, who knows? Obviously, there's still the January transfer window to come, and obviously that can change quite a few things as well. But yeah, I see you guys have reason to be optimistic. And if you can grind out results against some teams you had. I watched that Bolton game. I thought, obviously you're very, very well defensively drilled, and that can get you a really long way in this division.
Ollie, you've lost quite a few key players over the summer. Who have you brought in, and who should we be keeping our wits about us in your team?
So we did lose quite a few number of players, but I think it's worth kind of the context of that is we massively overspent for a couple of years, and our wage budget kind of expenditure was really, really skewed to a few number of players. So like Dunkley, Morosi, more experienced players who were on really big money for Shrewsbury Town, which meant that we had some other players who played against you guys last time on like real pocket money. So our squad was really, really, we were trying to kind of bring the expenditure down, which meant that we had a lot of players on too much money, and then we had to let some of them go. Now, we did offer Dunkley a contract, but everyone else we let go, including Mr. Flanagan, who obviously was not so smart on BBC Shropshire when we played last time we played you guys in the FA Cup. So out of the players who left, only probably really Dunkley I'd probably want to keep anyway. Tom Bayliss is a good player. He's at Lincoln now. So him and probably Dunkley, but everyone else I'm not really too bothered. We lost them, to be honest.
So one player you lost, you let go a couple of years ago, 2021, I believe, Ryan Barnett, who's had a fantastic start to the season in League One. I'd imagine Barney might have a point to prove at the weekend. Is that somebody that maybe Shrewsbury fans are thinking is a bit of a danger man there?
Yeah, he's done really well. and that's obviously the challenge that you guys will have, obviously, as you go, if you go up higher as well, is to getting players from your youth system into your first team football is really difficult. And getting players we haven't had many successes over the last few years, and Barney was one of the players that the club obviously decided at the time wasn't good enough for League One. He didn't go to League One team, he didn't go to a League Two team either. So he's had to work his way up. But there's been some good players that have left Shrewsbury. Tom Bradshaw's had a great career. So there's lots of players that do that. So I think he's a threat against Benning, our left back. I think he would probably be a good battle there. So yeah, it's a great. I wouldn't say he necessarily anything to prove or anything against us, probably, because I'd imagine he probably appreciated that he probably needed to leave as well to to get his career on track.
Yeah, I kind of have to ask because I think it might be something that we, like Wrexham fans and Shrewsbury fans, agree on. Sam Ricketts, what's the thoughts on him over the other side of the border?
Well, he owns a building constructors now, a merchant, so he's probably in the right game now.
Probably making more money from it now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it? Just a quick one from me before we do predictions and wrap up. Just looking at your squad, can you tell me about Luca Houle? I didn't realise you had a Welsh centre back playing for you guys. Welsh under 21 international. He's now 22 from Newport. Played a couple of games so far. How's he looking?
Yeah, unfortunately for us, he'll be with Wales under 21 on the weekend, so he won't be able to play. He's a right back. We got him signed from Bristol Rovers. They were really keen to keep him, and I've been told that he's more of a defensive fullback, a classic kind of fullback rather than like a wing back or a marauding left back or right back. He looks really solid. He wins his tackles. Against Stevenage, nothing really got past him at all for most of the game. So he seems quite a good player, and yeah, I wouldn't say he's, maybe he'll push on, but he seems like a really, really solid League One player.
Happy days. Good luck to him.
Yeah, but the trouble is we've only got one right back.
Okay.
So it's disappointing for us that Wales have called him up. So we'll have to play someone else there. Though if Winchester comes back, he played right back for Sunderland. He's more of a central midfielder, so he's our kind of backup.
We've got loads, mate, if that's any consolation. Probably isn't. Sorry, we just have for some reason. Yeah, lots of wing backs. Yeah.
Right. Are we going to go? Let's go into sort of prediction-y kind of territory. Let's see if we can get another bold prediction for the second week running. So I think it was youthful exuberance on Charlie's side last week. Ollie, you seem a bit more die-in-the-wool as a fan, similar to the rest of us. I'd imagine you're going to be quite measured, but buoyed after the last result. So what is your thought process for whatever result prediction you're going to give us?
If I was placing a bet, I'd probably go for a Wrexham win. But I don't know, there's something about looking at their history. A good start to the season for you guys. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Shrewsbury in one of those games where we literally will have one shot, it will hit someone's arse. You'll dominate the play, and all your fans will be whinging about how lucky Shrewsbury are, but we'll be happy with a 1-0 win to take away. So I thought about this quite long and hard, but yeah, going to go for a Shrewsbury Town 1-0 win.
Oh, it's still worth it. It's still clip worthy. Measured or not, it's still clip worthy.
Yeah, it's not 5-1. Let's be honest. Yeah,
that was bold. But yeah, I mean, you know what? Stranger things have happened in football. So there we are. Andrew,
I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 the Town. Nice and simple. I've seen it. I've foreshadowed it. I can feel it in my loins. I'm tingling.
Which town? Shrewsbury Town.
No, the proper town.
The original.
Yeah, the OG town.
Rhys.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can keep riding the wave. I mean, obviously on paper, we've got to be looking. This has got to be if we want to finish top 8, as Ollie very kindly thinks we got a chance.
Is Rhys frozen?
Win. So
you got
oh no, have I frozen?
Yeah, I think it's probably because you're in the dark and you're
it's gone rubbish
money in the electric. You look like
you
look like
I'm trying to preserve.
It's just black and just your face. It's very, very.
Very Am I back? Can you hear me?
Yes.
It says my internet connection is unstable, like my nerves, due to the lack of sleep that I have. But anyway, what was I saying? I think we'll win 2-1. There we go. Okay. I'll keep it short.
So we've got a 3-1, a 2-1, a 0-1, and I'm going to go for a 2-0, just because it's very rare that we get this run of clean sheets. Like I think I said the other day, this is the first time we've had 3 league clean sheets in a row since April 21, and these little moments come together few and far between. So I think we'll keep on with the clean sheet. I think we'll probably lose the league clean sheet at Birmingham for sort of 5 in a row, but I think we'll get it. I think the game won't be without its moments. There'll definitely be some big moments in it, and it'll be tough. You know, they'll definitely want to get one back after the cup exit, which obviously we were quite fortuitous with that deflected goal and James McClean thanking everybody in the home end. So that adds a little bit of needle to it, as always. And it'll be interesting, you know, 3 o'clock kickoff. Goes without saying, please drink responsibly and enjoy yourself. It'll be a tinderbox atmosphere, no doubt. Bit of an edge to it. There always is with these sort of games. So are you coming down, Ollie?
No, I can't. I had to make it a kind of a wise choice, I'd say. I got a lot of business travel with work in September, so I think trying to skive off for a whole Saturday was going to be a bit of a bridge too far. But yeah, I'll be watching. But yeah, I wish I could be there. Quite a few of my podcast colleagues will be going. So yeah, I wish I was going. I did go to the last time we played you at the racecourse ground. So yeah, I'll miss this one, unfortunately.
I roughly translated business travel as I'm definitely having a bet on Wrexham to win. As per
No chance. I couldn't do that. I don't even bet anymore, to be honest. But yeah, I could never do that. Just the size I couldn't predict Wrexham to beat us either.
There you go. Yeah, no, that's fully understandable. Right, I think that's everything, isn't it? From that kind of regard. What else we got after that? The Bristol Street Motors next week, which we can discuss because that's well worth plenty of coverage. Is it Salford? I can't remember. We've got.
Yeah, it is. It is on the Tuesday. Yep.
And then a small matter of 6 days before Birmingham, which I'm sure we'll have plenty of fun with. But yeah, Ollie, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate
no problem, guys.
I'm sure we'll have a discussion whenever the return fixture is. I can't remember when that is. It's
I have
later
no
on.
idea when it is, to be
I
honest.
feel like it's March or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to double check. But no, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it as always. Thanks for coming on and being honest and forthright with everything. It'd be very interesting to see how you get on this season in terms of where both sides finish up, really. Rhys, Andrew, anything to add before we go? Is that everything? We've covered all the bases. I kind of feel we've forgotten something, but I don't know.
That's
No, we have. Oh, have we forgotten something, Andrew?
No, I think we're all
That's
good.
all.
And I know
Except other than go to the fat ball. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Get to the fat ball. Check out the newsletter.
Weekend in the Philippines or whatever Andrew just did. I didn't even know you were in the Philippines. Did you just go there for like 48 hours or something? When did you,
No, it was just for the afternoon. It just conveniently tied in with a 3 o'clock kickoff my VPN. That was all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Superb. Yeah, just one last thing off the top of my head. Just want to congratulate Neil Roberts and everybody that was involved in the Graham Souness night held in aid of a certain JPJ, Mr. Joey, which he was there, so it's no great secret anymore. It looked like it was a great night, plenty of funds raised, everybody had a good time, including my old man who had plenty of pictures taken with all of his Liverpool heroes of yesteryear. So yeah, a good shout out to Neil and everybody involved in the organisation and success of that event. So yeah, great stuff. I think that's everything. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the to and fro in this week, all the engagement. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, buy us a coffee in inverted commas, all that jazz. And yeah, make sure everybody send Andy Gilpin an email at andrewgilpin@hotmail.com about Rhys's poor internet and tell him to pull his finger out down there in the Mumbles, or I think that's where you live, isn't it? Around
Swansea, not Mumbles.
Is Mumbles more expensive than Swansea?
Yes.
You sound fraught with anger then when I said
no.
Mumbles.
The traffic would be a nightmare if you lived in Mumbles. There's only one way in, one way out. It's terrible.
There you go. Fair enough. Right. Yeah. So that's everything. So yeah, thanks very much, and we'll see you next week. Cheers. Thanks very much.